Hello, hello. Welcome to the new podcast show, Women Who Tech. This is your host, Lisa, and this is the honest talks with women professionals where we inspire and empower each other. And my first guest tonight is Tetiana Boliukh, who is Senior Global Product Manager at Camplify. And she is now with us to talk about her journey and everything that she's ready to share.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. Hello from warm Australia. Summer here. It's a bit rainy today, but we don't really care. It's beautiful weather. Everything is green. And how's the weather at your side?
Seriously, I don't know. It seems like it's snowing in Berlin. I'm here in Berlin, and it's like 20 past 9 in the evening, and I think it's morning there, right? In Australia on your time.
It's pretty much 7:20 in the morning. Just woke up, made my morning matcha, and ready to kick the day, ready to kick the Friday.
Oh, amazing. It's Friday for you. Well, I wish you also awesome Friday. You also starting your work day. I'm curious how your day as a product manager look like, and what do you think is going to be for you today?
All right, cool. Look, so Friday is usually my bit of a shorter day because Tuesdays and sometimes Wednesday and Thursdays are a bit longer. As you mentioned, my role is global, so I do have my stakeholders and some of my team members are overseas. They are in Berlin office and in Lisbon office, so sometimes we need to have calls or alignment during my non-working hours. So for that, I work Friday a little bit shorter. So Friday's gonna be a short day. We love Fridays. On a side note, just for the context, we have 10-hour difference with you guys now. So this is as big as it gets. It will get a bit shorter in April when we swap times, but until then,
Okay, wow. I mean, it's Australia. You have everything there, the beach, the ocean, right? Yeah, we are not getting jealous. No way. And you do the global product management. And what led you to this career in the field? Did young or small Tatiana imagine herself back in the past doing all this product management stuff?
this is such a great question. And when I always think about it, I think that she did not imagine her to be where she is and to do what she does, but she always imagined that she would be doing something cool and something impactful. And my first major is around teaching. So I used to be a teacher many moons ago, and teaching is impacting people, teaching is helping people, teaching is working with people, right? With people needs. And so is product management. It's about users, it's about bringing impact, it's about making right things and making people happy at the end of the day. So, did I imagine myself being a senior product manager, whatever the title is? No. Did I imagine myself bring impact to people and helping people and listening to them and addressing their needs? Yeah, for sure.
This is such a nice crossover if you think about it. Some time ago, I heard or I read the opinion that being effective at product management is like being super effective with kids because you kind of have to be patient and very tolerant and mature with your stakeholders, with people, with colleagues, and it's kind of if you work with kids, those skills gonna be key for you. Do you also agree with that?
Look, product management is intersection between business, tech, and design. And while all those people, they're so professional in their areas, we need to talk about other areas. So if I talk with business people about tech or with tech about business, sometimes I do need to translate things in a simpler language, not because someone doesn't understand it well, but because it's just easier to understand information in this way. So you're absolutely right. When you have a room full of people who have their own business needs or their own goals, to align all of them and to make sure that we have some conclusion at the end, well, don't tell them, but it is a bit of a babysitting. In a good way, in a good way.
Whatever it takes to be productive and also to align people and build a good relationship with them. While we're on that spot, do you have some favorite parts of your job and maybe least favorite?
Ooh, that's a good question. Who I have favorite part of my job? Everything when it comes to discovery, and when we have actual problems, and we can go to the woods, we can talk to users, we can ideate, we can bring all the smart people to the room, we can brainstorm, we can spend hours discussing problems, bouncing ideas of each other. That's absolutely favorite part. The least favorite, I don't know, all the corporate stuff, all the corporate discussions, it is obviously not the most favorite because while it is possible to bring everyone on the same page, sometimes it might be a little bit of a challenge, but that's okay. That's still absolutely doable.
Wonder if you can share also the recent challenges and but also the recent wins. It could be yeah anything.
Absolutely. Every day is a little win, and I absolutely love that. Sometimes it's a win to establish better communication with some stakeholders where there were some struggles for a long time. Sometimes it's just a little alignment with your colleague and it feels such a huge relief. It's a big win. Sometimes to read users' feedback when say like, "Oh my God, this feature is really makes me so happy." I feel like the effort that I'm putting in my work is finally visible because I'm working on a peer-to-peer platform, so we have owners and hires because probably we should have mentioned that Camplify is a peer-to-peer RV sharing platform which operates in 7 markets. So we have RV owners and we have hires. Think about Airbnb, the same concept. So whenever owners coming back to us and say like, "Oh, I'm putting so much effort into making my RV profile pretty," and finally I feel that because all the implemented features and search or whatever you did, guys, it just works better. It feels absolutely fantastic. It feels so great to read those comments. Probably my recent win is that we have improved user verification in our system, and that helps us to protect our RV owners for any unforeseen circumstances or unforeseen situations. But also, I feel us a bit safer about our travelers and making sure that we know who is traveling with us and we know that RVs are coming back safe and sound. And yeah, so I think this is a great win. And we also improved a lot of efficiency of our colleagues who, instead of going back and forth solving problems, now just enjoy automated features. So that's a big one. One of my colleagues just last night, he said, like, "I just want to drop you a message that I love your work."
That's so generous. Have you experienced recently something that you would rather say as a personal win? Something that you got so inspired and felt great. I am empowered. I am doing what I love. I have the impact I want to have. We're just happy about life.
About work, recently I ran a couple of workshops with my product and UX team. And every time you run a workshop, especially if it's a team bonding or team building workshop, where you have a safe space to say, "Hey, this doesn't serve me. I want this to be this. I want this to work this way." And then you sit together and you make an action plan and 2 3 days later you see that you can actually adapt processes to make people happier. It's not my win, but I'm very happy that I am able to create this room and to bring this conversation and to make people a little bit open and to say, "Yep, there's a place where I can say that what I want to change, and I see this little change, even if it's little by day. Soon it becomes big." That really made me super happy recently. But my personal win, well, I feel like every time I come to podcast, I will speak about running. I never was a runner. I became a runner in Australia because everyone is running in Australia, and it's just such a pleasure to go on the morning run. There's a sunrise next to ocean. Love that. So I hit my personal best pace lately. So just happy about that, and that's a big win. I challenged myself a couple of months ago, and I started dancing. I started dancing. I started dancing salsa and bachata, and that was already a challenge. When I started, I was 33, and to start a new hobby when you are in this age, it's not very hard, but it's also not the easy one. And I went, and everyone is so good, and I want to learn to be this amazing. My biggest learning that in order to become good in something, you need to be average for quite a bit of time. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning to be average and be patient with myself, and I'm learning to give myself as much time as I need and to not push hard and to keep it on the line where I still really enjoy it and not like hustling to achieve. So day before yesterday, I'm attending class. So I'm doing 3 times a week now. I attended class, and the teacher, he was like, "Oh my God, you're really good in this move." Oh, stop it. I will tell this to everyone now. Everyone in this city will know that you said this to me.
Acknowledging little wins also in a new hobby. But I wonder how the being patient with yourself and being kind of average or something plays out also with the what you mentioned with the desire to be the best or to achieve the most and to be the best of yourself.
This is absolutely new experience and new skill. If you know a little bit about me, and you do, I was always very career focused. I was always hustling, achieving, pushing all the limits, pushing all the boundaries. While this hobby is where I learned not to do that purposely. So I learned to be not good, to be happy, and I learned to enjoy the process, learn to be relaxed, and which is very interesting, learn how to follow and not to lead. Because in a dancing, you are not leading, you are following the leader. First months for me, I was like, what do you mean? Wait, what? You, you don't make any decisions, girl. You don't make decisions. Decisions are pre-made. You just follow them. First 2 months will be people who will be literally telling me like, don't lead. You need to follow. I recommend to everyone, especially if you're a managerial job or you've got too much to think about and too many decisions to make, to go dancing, to go salsa, bachata, whatever, to go the place where you follow. That's absolutely fantastic new experience, and it's so relaxing for your mind. It's really nice place to be at.
And I'm just thinking, how much is that about finding out the balance between being in control and being stressed out at the work, and then switched off where you can be not in control at all in running, in dancing, and following the impulse. Does it help you out?
The thing is, what makes my role global is, as I said, that I got work to do 24/7. Once my shift in Australia ends, European shift can start. There is really always work to do. When I just moved to Australia and 1 year ago, we had so much work to do. I was so involved in so many tasks, both in Australia and European team. I was working a lot, like a lot. And I just moved to Australia. I did not have friends. I did not have side hobbies. I didn't have any social activities that would keep me busy when I'm not working. So obviously it didn't last too long. I went through massive burnout. People always say like, "Oh, I burned out," and that's all that I said in the past. This time, I can say that I know what's that. It's horrible. It's a very dark place to be. I don't recommend anyone to be there. So I took a very long vacation, couple of weeks. My friend came. We took a camper. We went to the beach. We spent many days in the rural areas where there's just me and nature and us talking. And I absolutely restarted my mindset and restarted my approach to life. Once I came back, my task was number one to find friends, social activities, places who don't talk with me about work, where I don't bring work, to to make myself so committed and so busy after work hours that I absolutely cannot skip it. Running always was with me, and running is the best way to slow down. Yesterday I was having calls, like I was already like putting my dress out of the wardrobe when I was finishing. I was like, guys, I've got plans. I could easily keep working, but I was like, no, I've got plans. I'm busy, and I go and I will dance 3, 4, 5 hours. I will back home around midnight, happy and restored, and oh, yeah. And this is where I go to recharge.
Sounds like a great example of being assertive and ask for respecting your boundaries. And do you have any good formula for us how we as women professionals overall working in tech can ask for respecting our boundaries when it comes to the work-life balance?
Once I started doing my classes, I told everyone in the team that from now on, all my evenings busy. I can keep one evening for longer hours. This time from on Tuesday, I work till, for example, 10 p.m. my time. But that also means that Fridays are shorter. That's the trade. And whenever my colleagues from Europe, you're working like longer hours today, I'm like, don't you worry, I will have longer weekend. It's all good. Friday, I will finish around noon. I'll go to the beach. It's absolutely fantastic reward. The most important is probably to communicate the boundaries and to set up the balance, saying like, "Hey, I will do this. That's what I have in return." And the second thing is, in my case, I always say, this for the times that I have my courses, my calendar is blocked. There's no chance to put any meetings. My calendar is also blocked when I'm out at the office. Even if there is a meeting, everyone knows that I will just not be there, and that's fine. That no one will die, and that's okay. It just helps me to restore so well and to recharge. You can recharge like by many ways. The way I picked is also physical activity. That is a lot of work with body, with physical touch, and with actually listening to your body. Such a great way to switch off from a brain work to something else.
So what I heard from you is basically that the formula is first be respectful of your own boundaries, recognize them, acknowledge them, take care of them, and there is nobody else to do that actually. You're the first person to take care of yourself. And then you say it out loud what you like and what is the trade is to find the compromise is I'm gonna give you this, but the other hours I'm off. You negotiate with people. Over the time that becomes to feel as supernatural. It's like the boundaries already established and people know when and where to reach out to you. Even if somebody is trying to overstep, is rather the exception.
We can make, of course, exceptions, and we can say, okay, I will do this time, but just because I'm on the leave next week and I really want to wrap up this project. But normally, there's absolutely no way I will do that. Just let's be clear here. On the other hand, I think last year has been such a challenging year for our business, and people are learning to be very kind to each other and very understanding of each other's pressure and time and workload. So whenever someone would be like, "Yep, I need me time. You guys, I need me time." I think we are learning how to be very empathetic to this. And it's one of the things that I really love about my team, about my company, that if someone will be saying like, "Hey guys, I'm not working today because I need me time. I need to recharge, I need to restart." The answer will be take as much as you need, because everyone knows that I will come back, do my job better. I hope that this resonates with many people.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned the burnout that you experienced, and also because of quite difficult times that the company had. And thanks so much for sharing that very honestly. I think we have to talk about that more and more because it's something that. Like statistically speaking, almost every person in their professional life experience is the matter of how to act fast and how to take care of yourself. I wonder if you can share like the signs of when a person feel burned out and what to watch out in the beginning, and maybe something that you wish to watch out but didn't do.
I think in my case, I should have learned earlier that not all problems can be fixed. I did put, I did put a lot of effort hoping that I can fix a lot of problems, and spoiler alert, I did not, but it costed me a lot of my mental health and stability at that time, which probably many people in my area do. Especially, we tend to be problem solvers. I can fix it. I can manage it better. I can do something. But probably we also need to be mindful of our, again, boundaries and our limits. I pushed my limits a little bit too hard, and I don't see the results of that work. So that was probably the most draining and key part of my burnout, that I actually put so much effort and end up not seeing the outcomes. If I had this balance, as which I have today, 1 year ago, if I had these boundaries 1 year ago, if I had these friends and social club that I have now, I think that would be a little bit better. What were the first signs is that I couldn't sleep well. I couldn't think about anything other than job. I would think about job 24/7. Slack would be on my all working devices, and I would wake up looking Slack, going to sleep. Like, I remember that my one of the craziest time that I had last Google Meet call was around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And then I woke up at 6 and I had another one. So I just overworked myself really hard, and I did not fix what I wanted to fix. So the first sign would be just watch your sleep, watch your moods, watch your physical appearance, look in the mirror. If you see that you're fading away, or a little bit of unhealthy look or pale skin, listen to your mind, listen to your body. If you see that something is odd, take a break. Take 1 day off, 2 day off, 1 week off. It's all fine. You will come back, you will pick on it stronger. You will manage to do things better.
I really like what you said about the sleep and the physical appearance. Sleep, basically the essential, is like your core. If you don't sleep well, you won't be productive the other day. So you have to watch out for that. Some time ago, you just came from Australia to Berlin to deal with the apartment and so on, and you showed me the ring. Okay, it's on you. So as far as I understand, this tag also gets the data about your sleep. Did it help at that time, and how is it going on right now?
You're absolutely right. This is my Aura ring. This ring sits on my finger for a little bit more than a year now, and it tells me every morning if I slept well. And also, it tells me about my stressful levels. which is great. And sometimes it also tells me about my temperature. So sometimes I would see that I have increased stress level, and for example, my resilience is low and my temperature is high. And last time when it was telling me that my temperature is high, oh, that's why I feel not well. And it was not a flu or a cold or something. It was just maybe because Australia is quite a warm country. So I was like, you know what? I will just take a little bit of a nap. So I took a couple of hours to look after myself. Sometimes when I will notice, it will be a bit too late, but Ring is telling me this a bit earlier. So I rely on this data a lot.
It's so interesting how we can actually be mindful because of technology we use, the hardware. We can act on time or even before something would happen. So it's amazing. So you moved from Berlin, Germany to Australia, I think like more than 1.5 years ago. That was a big drastic change for you. You moved because of the work. So it was the relocation, how did you get this courage and to move from one continent to another? And what did it mean for you?
That was so crazy. 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago in February, my boss or CTO came. The company I was working in Berlin got acquired by Australian company. That's a little bit of a context, right? And the headquarter became the one which is in Australia. And my boss came to Berlin office. And I don't know how that happened, but he just looked at me and said, like, we need you in our office in Australia. We need you to come and to hire people to train the team so they will do the job that you're doing here because you're doing it quite well. And I was like, yeah, cool, sure, yeah, why not? And look, you probably know that if you're in the middle of Berlin winter and everything is so dark and gray, and someone is telling you, like, do you want to go for a couple of months to sunny, summery Australia? We will pay for everything and you just do your job there? Sure. I was like, well, hell yeah. Of course I'm coming. And the plan was initially for me to come for 3 months. I was like, is it 2 weeks business trip? And they're like, no, no, like 3 months. We started planning visa and accommodation and everything. They're like, it's just probably easier if we do actually 6 months. I'm like, sure. While I had so many beautiful, wonderful friends in Berlin, as yourself, Lisa, uh, there was also nothing that would like keep me there. I did not have relations or family or anything that I actually very hardly attached to. So it was kind of an easy one for me. And then when I came here, indeed, it was for 6 months, right? That's why I didn't give up on my apartment or on my stuff. I just packed my suitcase and I came here. But somehow Australia greeted me like a good old friend. And I cannot even explain that. And it's just so weird because it's also very different in terms of culture, in the way people communicate. I don't know if I should say it. People in Berlin, less they're actually immigrants and foreigners, they are quite reserved and rather not too warm, so to say. Well, here everyone is very warm and very welcoming. So I would go in a store and they were like, hey, how was your day? Oh my God, you smell so nice. I love your bag. Oh, where's your accent from? Oh my God, Ukraine. This is adorable. Oh yeah, I know about Ukraine. And it will be so genuine. I used to work in international companies and quite diverse cultures. Here, the company is quite monocultured, so Australian is a dominant culture in the company, which is fantastic, to be honest. I got zero issues with that. But I didn't know how that would be for me, for a foreigner. My English is not perfect. I got a strong accent. I'm coming from overseas. I have a manager in my position. What does that mean? I was thinking how it's gonna work. I just came and I got adopted from the first minute. They were my colleagues. I hope they're listening to this. They just looked at me like, okay, cool. We're going to have some beers today after work. I'm like, I don't drink beers. I was not much on alcohol. And they were like, you can sit next to us. It's okay.
So welcoming.
I love sunflowers because sunflowers always make me feel home. That's a flower of my country, of Ukraine. And when I entered this apartment, there were sunflowers in a vase and a postcard, "Welcome home." And I was like, stop it. Stop it. 1 month later, after I arrived, I got an offer for a relocation. The most complex, yet the easiest decision I made in my life. It was already my third continent that I moved, and probably fifth or seventh actually relocation in my life. So it was not the first one. It was definitely one of the hardest one because continents, cultures, visas, everything. Loved every minute of it.
This sounds like a nice Cinderella story or a fairy tale, like coming from gloomy Berlin to the very sunny Australia. Yet it's a significant change. I admire you so much for being all dive in and open-minded about the big change in your life. So we talked about the sunny Australia, and now I wonder also about your career path, whether you had any strategy to that, and of course, if you had any tips for product managers.
Thank you. That's a great question. Well, this year I celebrate actually 10 years since I am doing this job. And this job is not necessarily always had a title of product manager. Sometimes it was like business development, working a little bit closer with business and doing product ownership, which was a little bit working closer with the tech team. But it was always the same field and responsibilities. Big number. I'm excited. Um, I'm 4 years now with the company. So 2 years of them were with Paul Kemper, the one before acquisition, 2 years after acquisition. So it's 4 years in total with RV sharing business. My title now is a senior global. And when I joined Paul Kemper, it already the job was full of senior tasks, and I was leading and running and mentoring and doing a lot of things, which are like more of a senior person, more of the senior person level. Well, like the strategy is simple. Just be very good, very committed in your work, and don't be scared to take on big tasks. Don't be scared to be initiative. Don't be scared to be like, yep, I can do that. Even if you cannot do that, even if you need to read a book, get some smart words in your head, just say, yep, I can do that. Can I do a little bit of research on that? Be proactive. Write proposals. I often write proposals. Some of them are being put on the shelves. Some of them are never being actioned on, and that's fine. This is the role description that I think that we need in our team. Talk to people, adopt new ideas, read books, listen to podcasts, make sure that you know everything about this, or not everything, but like as much as you can grasp, and be proactive. Don't be scared to take the lead. If you see that there is a need, run a workshop on that. Can I try? Sometimes when people will ask me like, do you need help with that? I'm like, you can come and supervise me. Try to do things, try to push hard. And another thing in my job in product management role, always think about numbers. How will you measure it? Always work on something that you can actually measure. This is so hard. This is such a hard pill to swallow, because we are often being told what to work on. We are often being said what to do. And sometimes we have to deliver features, but try to think, how will I measure this? Which business goals are we talking about here? Will I measure it qualitative with the user feedback? If you work hard, if you focus on product that you're building, you focus on users, and you're able to measure it, this very soon will be seen. Sometimes it might take a very long time of working really hard, and then you wake up and things are just happening. And back to my dancing experience, sometimes you have to be really average for a bit of a time so that you become great. Be patient with yourself. Let yourself being as good as it takes, and just get better every day. I enjoy reading about product management. I find something that you have fun reading. If you're reading and it feels, I can't, it's just so wrong, I don't want to think about this, maybe that's not the good read. Find something that you will really love reading. For example, there's a new book, Impact First. This is my new book. I will read it on the beach. I will read it in a cafe. I will read it on my day off, because I love what I'm doing, and I love being coming better every day. This actually goes the same direction that we talked about earlier. Measure everything what you're working on. Focus on impact. How can you impact business goals, user needs, internal users? That's where the good stuff starts.
So since we touched upon that such a cool topic that I'm also excited about as a product designer, I wonder if you have the back of the success metrics of the business KPIs that you like operating with as a foundation. How do you customize the success metrics depending on a project or product? Any frameworks that you care to share?
When I talk to my mentees, I always tell them, what is the main metrics that you want to hit with this project? Now, sit together with the team, and before you start, build a little bit of a KPI tree. For example, within this project, we want to improve CVR from this percentage to this percentage. What feeds into this? And you just build a little bit of a KPI tree. When you say, okay, I see this number here, I see number here. Last year I was running initiative which was including a lot of business people, cross-functional work, where we say, what can we do without any dev work. So devs were very busy with some big initiative, and I was running a business initiative saying, oh, let's imagine the developers are not there and we need to improve metrics without developers in the room. So we sat together, we said, we want to improve this metric from start till end. How do we do that? It's big, it's massive, it's gigantic. We look through all the quantity feedback and we build a little bit of a KPI tree. So it's not big anymore. It's actually a mixture of a lot of small ones. And we did manage to find a way, how can we do a little bit of a manual work or automated task via our CRM management systems. What I'm trying to say is define your main metric and understand what feeds into those main metrics. What is the KPI tree for that? Understand where can we do little wins and little impact so that can feed into bigger number. It's not as easy as it sounds, but that's a good way to go. That's a good way to start. And obviously we all need very good tooling to be able to do that. Sometimes it is a challenge to measure that. I was just talking with my colleague designer Jazz. We were saying that when in doubt, talk to users every week, talk to users all the time. I'm a little bit lacking that right now. Previously, every day, my Friday would be reserved for a call with a user. We are about to restore those habits, but yeah, these are two things. These are two things that one needs to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, talking to users as is a good habit. It's the part of continuous discovery, as really famous book teaches, and it can be the part of the habit of designers and product managers, and we can talk to users together or like taking turns there. Since we already acknowledge that the user opinion and experience means a lot, how does quoting the user help you in convincing stakeholders or your team to take some pivot or the specific decision?
That's a tough question. So I have owners who are with us all the time, who are our supply. It's very easy to reach to them because we are doing business with them. We are business partners because they're coming to our system to earn money and they want me to make system better for them. So that's one persona that it's quite easy to talk to. Hires, they just want to take their van to travel and to leave. That they don't care. They will never come back. That's the part where it's hard to talk to them. So we still manage to find them. That's where we need a lot of analytical tools and a lot of behavioral recognition and understanding how exactly they behave on the platform. When it comes to owners, I can put things into dollar value. I can say, hey, users are complaining about this feature, and I know 5 cases that, for example, quit our platform because they didn't get it or they got so frustrated. How much did we lose? I'll tell you. For example, this user on average makes with us X money a month or X money a year. So now that this user is not with us, this is how much money of revenue we are lost.
That would convince any business stakeholder. Losing money, that's something that nobody
Yeah,
likes.
it's very hard, but think, how can you put this user's feedback into dollar value? Business doesn't speak emotions. Business doesn't speak like, oh, users are not happy. Business speak about money. How much money are we losing if we are not doing that? On the other hand, how much money would it cost us to implement this? When will be the return of investment? That's a totally different conversation you're stepping in. Know your numbers, know your metrics. It's not an easy, but that's where the fun part starts. Like, how much homework can I actually do to prove my business case and to say, hey, this is the user's feedback and this is how we can monetize it.
Definitely. Sounds very respectful towards the stakeholders. We just talk the language that business talks. Hope it's alright also to share some technique that you shared with me. You told me that whenever you have some heated negotiations or talks with anybody and you're talking to your laptop and the people on that side, you try to ground yourself. So like legs on the floor, hands over here, calming yourself down, check out the breathing. It gives you like the grounded feeling so that you can also focus yourself and the audience on the rationale. I love this technique. How does that work out for you right now? And maybe anything else you'd like to share?
So the first one is to stay grounded and to put 2 feet on the floor. That would be my immediate answer if you didn't mention that, because that's what I do. And I brought this from my therapy. I was in therapy many years, and that's why my therapist taught me. And I would recommend this to everyone. What I'm lately practicing before every single meeting, I will just say to myself, we are a group of amazing people and we all want the best. Now, how can we meet in between? And that also means for me to prepare myself that not everything what I'm coming with will be achieved, but also to elaborate that, hey, I hear you. Can you please hear me as well? And how can we just meet in between? Let's just find a common ground, just one common ground that works for us. Maybe we do something in the short term, maybe we do something in the longer term. Let's find a way. How can we make it work? Another thing is that I always say in my calls this for this year is my strategy is I don't want to speak about why, where, who. The only question that I want to be answered is how. How can we make it happen? I don't really care about anything else. I just want to know how can we make it happen? How can I enable you and you can enable me to make it happen? And that changed the whole perspective because why this, why A, B, C, D? How can we fix it? How can we fix it right now? How can I help you right now? And then they change the whole perspective from being very philosophical and emotional. We are turning to getting things done. If there's one thing I'm really proud of is that all my managers would always categorize me as someone who gets things done. Whenever I come to the room, my only question is, how can we get it done? I want to get it done. How can we get it done?
So focusing on what unites us, the goals we have, and how we can get there. I overheard at this very cool webinar from Spilna Mova. It's this great Ukrainian soft skills school, and they are mentioning that only a person who can be convinced can also convince others, because then people can meet in the middle point, have some good compromises that would get them closer to their goals, and it's not just the battle between two big egos, and that just goes hand in hand with what you said. How did you get all these pieces of wisdom? Was it also the tryouts of mistakes, failures, and then success?
That's a good question. It's a probably gigantic mix of so many things. I was studying in Berlin University of Applied Science for a couple of years, product management. So I managed to be in the room with absolutely fantastic people who bring all the different perspectives and business cases and best practices. So that definitely impacted my career a lot. On the top of that, again, 10 years is a big number. Books, surely. Friends like yourself. When we sit together for a coffee and we just talk about projects and struggles and how we resolve problems, it just makes so much sense just to share and to have this collaborative space with colleagues in the industry. I did have mentors. I have absolutely fantastic mentor. I had mentored my soft skills. Her name is Barb. She's listening to that. Love you, Barb, forever and always. I was mentored and coached by amazing, fantastic Leah Farmer. She's absolute rock star in the industry. My absolute role model, Eva Lindig. Love you forever. Um, I get and they all of them happen to be female in tech, and they impacted my knowledge and my skills. The way they handle the most challenging conversations, the calmness and the wisdom that they hold, it taught me so much. There are so many fantastic people in my life, and I was always very keen to learn from them. I have also my mentees, people that I mentor. They would ask me, like, "Oh, but I want to learn this. How do I get this information?" Message someone on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, can we have a coffee? I just really want to ask a couple of questions about this and that topic." But what if they say no? Then you know. You reach out to people, you start talking, you exchange. That somehow, even if you don't remember what you talked about yesterday, in 1 year you will face familiar situation. Oh, you know what? I heard of that, and that's what those people did, and that didn't work for them. Maybe I should do something else.
Sounds amazing. Like the value of community is definitely shouldn't be underestimated. I also wanna double down on something that you said about staying proactive and initiative. And at the same time, we also observe that there are so not that much women in the leading positions or with the bigger titles. Sometimes imposter syndrome holds us back, everybody, but especially women, and therefore we are afraid to make a step forward. It has something to do with the way we've been taught, the vision we have about ourselves. Be proactive and not difficult, or to be initiative but not too much, and so on. All those not easy contradictions and inner conflicts. Have you ever experienced something like that? The big question of how would I become proactive and get rid of the imposter syndrome?
That's a good question, especially about difficulty. For a bit time of my life and my career, I was thinking like how to not be difficult a lot. And then I was like, I am difficult. What you gonna do about that? Nothing. But the problem comes when what's the definition of difficult? And how difficult are we allowed to be? I know men with the same titles I hold who will be throwing hysterical tantrums, throwing things on the table, leaving the room, saying I'm done, and everyone will be fine with that. I know that situation when I will be sitting in the room saying I'm blocked and I cannot move on and I have absolutely no other word to call it, and I will be called difficult. So what's the definition of difficult when it comes to male and female managers? It's a very different definition. From my experience, the sooner you find peace with that, the better is just for you. We are changing things and it's baby steps. Surely today perception of female manager is different than it was 10 years ago. And in 5 years we will be also probably much better than we are now. Someone said that we have to stand still so our daughters can walk. It is what it is. This is where we are at the moment. If someone will be saying that's not that bad, it is bad. It is bad, but here we are and we have to deal with it. I do try to avoid a lot of things that someone would relate to my gender, try to be calmer version of myself. Not often works. Setting up boundaries, it's very important to call off on things saying, hey, you're mansplaining now. Thank you. We don't need that. I'm sure we got everything what I said. Now let's proceed to the next question. Or something like, thank you, appreciate your comment. I believe that we all got what I wanted to say. Sounds a bit passive aggressive, but here we are. Sometimes you have to set up those boundaries because otherwise there is really hard time to work. Honestly, the moment I found peace was understanding that this is the world where I'm living, this is the industry where I'm working. I felt a little bit better because you just accept situation. You know what you can change, what you cannot change. I wouldn't say that I have a fight every day with male dominated industry, but I'm not relaxed. In every single meeting, in every single conversation, I'm quite awake that okay, that whatever I will say will be perceived differently because of my gender than if that would be said by my male colleague. My favorite example, I was discussing with my partner the other day, is one of my managers back in the day, a long time ago, reached out to me saying, you need to create very welcoming and caring environment. You need to be example of softness. I'm like, brother, I'm not a mother. This person reports to me. They didn't deliver 10 times. Fire him. Imagine something like this to be told to a man leader. Never. Remember, I'm getting things done. And that's funny. I had so many conversations like this. And the thing is, unfortunately, it is part of the game. And I'm ready for these conversations. And I know people in my current companies and my previous companies who would tell me things like this, who would look at me and who would subconsciously think that I should react a bit differently or act a bit different because I happen to be a woman.
Yeah.
And that's
Expecting from you other behavior, more women-like.
as I said, we need to stand still so our daughters can walk. If what I'm doing today will make next generation of female leaders feel better and stronger and more empowered in their positions, if someone will look at me later or maybe now and say like, yep, I see, I understand, I hear that's doable, I will feel that I'm doing a good job, I'm doing everything right.
You are doing your part of the job. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love the quotations of yours that we have to stand still so our daughters can walk. And in a way, we also relate with the other generation of women who are giving their wisdom away and sharing things like the mentors you had, all female leaders in tech. And maybe this is the way how we support each other and build up on that. The fight is definitely worth to take care of. Yeah, I definitely relate to that and wonder how, as a women professional, one can get into the room and get her voice seriously taken. Have you heard about those techniques? Dress up for success, the way how colleagues of yours gonna see you as a professional, lower your voice so that you would sound serious and presenting in a very rational way, have a good sense of humor, act as a. But do you relate to those techniques? Do you use some of them?
Let me think of it. Probably dress for success. Yeah, that's a good one. I would say that I really watch my clothing and I really make sure that I'm dressed up properly for occasions. I really mind that. But it's also because I know that if I dress up nicely, I feel so confident. I feel the best of myself. Even if I'm on a video call, I will put perfume on and lipstick because I know that hey, that I'm a badass. And I know that I smell Prada, and I love that. And this is how I smell when I'm confident. Don't scare to sit in the middle of the room, to take the main seat, to cut people off sometimes. Sorry to say that. Don't be scared to say I didn't finish. Don't cut me off. Don't be scared to speak up, to be loud, to be seen, to be visible, to take initiative, to be like, what's our agenda? Don't be scared to take the lead, to be the boss in the room. Just don't be scared. What you're gonna do? They will say something. That's okay.
Yeah. And you can say something back and still having in mind common goal, but also your own, I guess, like the self confidence and the way how you want to appear in the room and that you're worthy to be seen and to be taken seriously.
It was a very recent experience. Even if you are feeling that you're running on your last battery, and even if conversation is really hard, I'm so done with this shit. Stay cold, stay cool, go home, do something nice, look after yourself, a little bit of cry, go to people you love, go to their hugs, tell them about this. But just try to stay cool as long as it's possible. Feel like, yep, that's not serving me. Let's find a solution that's serving me and my needs. I want to be here. I don't feel heard and seen by this group. This communication make me feel this and this and this way. Let's find a solution. We can do that. We, all of us, including me, tomorrow will sit and find a solution. My calendar is up to date. I'm waiting for invite. And that's it. And now I've got salsa. Time to leave. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.
I hope not right now, though. So valuable what you're saying is we are all human and it's okay, yeah, to cry afterwards or to beat the pillow or hack the pillow, to be constructively aggressive and assertive during the workday, and then just leave your feelings, leave your emotions, and maybe that will give you more energy the next day when you come to the battle. So the part what you're saying builds upon the confidence, and the confidence, like in I think when we say this word, everybody has their own relationship with the confidence definition of that word. And for you, is it something that builds up with the small step upon next step, or is it something that you can learn at the courses, at the trainings, something that you actually can teach?
I was observing a couple of leaders, not necessarily in product management, but other areas, and I saw that there was one leader. If I could associate him with something, I would associate him with a rock. He just massive, gigantic rock. He's not moving. Water can keep smashing waves against him. Other rocks or can hit him, but he just stayed there. And I start thinking about it, about when I need to feel confident, be strong in my position. I will always think like, I'm a rock. I'm very heavy. I'm a massive. I'm moving nowhere. You can smash your head against me if you want to, but here I am, right here. You can see me. You can't escape me. I am a rock in the room. And this is what this is. Does it say that I am like not flexible or something? That's a different topic. In terms of calmness and confidence, I always think very, very calm, very quiet rock, and let people find a way how to fit you in. About building confidence, how stupid that sounds. Watch your supplements, watch your vitamins. Make sure that you are fine, that there is nothing bugging you, that there's nothing that you are lacking and that plays with your minds. Watch your magnesium. Watch everything. Do medical checks. It's all connected. If you are balanced in your health, you will also be balanced in your emotions. You will be also confident. I have some stickers on my working table. One says is to be soft is to be powerful. And another says whatever you tackle, you conquer. And that also helps me. I look at the sticker, I'm like, true.
Go get it, girl. True.
Put stickers around yourself, put reminders around yourself, make yourself a drink that you like, find a routine that makes you feel like a rock star. What doesn't work today might work tomorrow, and vice versa, and that's okay.
One step at a time. Thank you so much for my insights and quite the courage to talk honestly about your experience. When we used to be kids, the whole universe felt maybe warmer and everything was possible and so on. What would you do if not product management? And if there is something from your childhood that you're still on your journey to get?
Hear me out. I did not dream about it when I was a kid. I did not. But I'm getting older and I'm getting more of in my granny mode and I want to bake. I funny. I really feel like baking. I always say that somewhere in a parallel universe, I don't do Microsoft Teams and Outlooks. I do a little bakery, or I have a little cafe where people come, they have coffee, they have their cake. No one who has a cake can be sad. Let's be honest. Cake is a mood booster. People are happy. People buy cakes. They tell me, I compliment their perfumes and their purses, and life is good. I always say that somewhere in parallel universe, I have a bakery. Maybe in this universe, one day that will become a reality. I was just talking to one of my friends from a dancing community. The whole Saturday, we were like, how can we make it happen? She thought I came to gossip. No, I got business ideas. Let's start making desserts. Let's start doing something. Let's start making people happy. Sweet, sweet, sweet. How else can I prove you demand, girl? I'm just leaving this information with you. There is a product, and there's a demand. This is a minimal viable product.
Wow, what a story. I wish I were in Australia right now with you. I could use some nice cake. It was Tetiana doing the awesome product management. I just want to tell you that go bake a cake, because quoting Tetiana, nobody who's baking can be sad. Enjoy your day and whatever you do in your professional life. That was Women Who Tech, and hopefully we're gonna hear each other soon. Thank you so much, Tetiana.
Thank you for having me.